Hello guys, so today I've got Devika Anil, is an anaesthetic doctor. She's from India. She's age mentally about 45.
I thought you would say 14, but okay.
Senior, quite senior, and moved to another country a few months ago for a job. Could you tell, because people in there don't know about you, could you tell us a little bit?
So, like Silvana said, I am from India, and I think I've just lived in India my whole life. I'm 31, even though
You
she
think? You're
said
not really sure.
I lived in India my whole life. Thank you for that. Thank you for interrupting me on the very first sentence that I. But yeah, so I have lived all my life in India and different states, yes. But at the end, there's culturally something quite similar, even though you're in a different state in India. But this is my first time. I've traveled, definitely, yes, outside of India, but those were vacations.
Was it like mainly Asia you've traveled?
No, I have been to the US. I have been to other places. But again, that's all. When you go as a tourist, it's something else. You're just there to visit places. You're more accepting of the culture because you're like, I'm going to
Yeah.
see how it is. You don't have to try and imbibe it into your nature.
Yeah.
It's okay. You go there feeling that you're a foreigner. You're not trying to merge in with the culture when you go as a visitor there. So this is my first time anywhere outside of India.
You
for
want
that
to
matter.
embrace, but not to an extent.
Yes, I mean, you're there to see how other people live their lives. You're not there to try and do it yourself because you know at the end of it, you'll go back to your place. And that's how I've always traveled also. Every time I go somewhere, I'm very happy to go back home.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like 14 days, 15 days, 20 days, whatever said and done. The vacation was good, but that was never an escape from reality for me. That's something I need to do. Then I'll go back, and I'm always looking forward to going back home. So for a person like that, this move turned out to be more difficult than how I anticipated it to be.
Really?
Because yeah, I just packed my bags and left all of a sudden. In a
Really?
way.
Also, is that like that?
It was because one fine day, I did not know what I was doing with my life. Because yeah, I mean, I had a stable job. I had a decent income, which is how most doctors in India have. It's not a bad place to be. But suddenly there are those days where you feel like, what am I doing? Should I progress more professionally? Should I be comfortable, or is it wrong to be more too comfortable? Do you actually start testing your boundaries? It was something when I started feeling something like that, I started applying for jobs.
Oh, okay.
Randomly, I had 5 applications set out, but those applications didn't get accepted. And it's when you face a rejection that you're like, even though you might not want it, when you get rejected, you're like, I need to figure a way out to get my application
Why am I
accepted.
being rejected?
Exactly. Rejection is not easy.
No.
I did not really want the job if you think about it. But the rejection got to me. And I'm like, I'm going to work on my application and I'm going to make sure this gets
why
accepted.
don't you want me? I'm good.
Exactly. It sounds very egoistic, but I'm like, you don't want me? Like, why? Because I thought my CV was quite good. I mean, I can definitely work more on it. But 5 rejections back to back, again, is not something that I have faced as a student. Or because again, when you're a doctor, all you do is keep studying your life. So it's kind of like straightforward. You finish one exam, you give another exam, so it keeps going like that. So then I applied, and so the 6th application got accepted. The 7th one also got accepted. And I got 2 interviews back to back. One, I think,
that? Fantastic.
I have no idea. Maybe it's something I did right. The change that I had put into my application.
That's not maybe. That's for sure. Well done.
Or sometimes I think I needed that uprooting also from my comfort zone. Maybe I had to get out of there because I would have lived my life there.
Yeah.
In a very comfortable, not that it's wrong. It's fine living in a capsule. But sometimes you need to put yourself out there. And I would not have put myself out there on purpose. So the thing is, I got these 2 interview applications, I think with a week's gap in between. And I knew the first one that I gave, I really wanted it.
Really?
The second one, I was like, should I even bother, attending the interview? Because I was like, I like staying back where I was staying. And the first interview, I don't think I did well. I didn't think I did well at that point. The second interview, I thought I did really well. I got the first job. I didn't get the second one.
I'm like that with my assignments.
So once you think you've done well,
everything in life, I think, for me is like that.
I think that goes to show that, our perspective might not always be right. I don't know how I got the job in the first place. It could be me, like I felt like I'd done a lot of things wrong. But probably my interviewers thought that, she's got something right.
Yeah.
And the second job, I've never figured out why they didn't give me that.
No, they didn't give you an answer either.
They don't specify usually. Like, it's just a generalized, a blanket statement. Like, it could be anything. But yeah, I mean, and the first job that I got was the one I really wanted, but I never thought of, moving places and all of that. It's kind of like, something like you say, I want to go to Antarctica. But have you really thought about or you want to go to outer space? Have you thought about the amount of preparation,
Oh,
that it
yeah.
takes to do it? So that was kind of like the case with me. I wanted the job, but did I think about all the things that I have to leave behind?
That was one of my questions.
Yeah.
Like, how difficult was that? How did you prepare yourself?
It was very difficult. I'll tell you, the minute I got the job offer, I cried. And
Really?
those were not tears of happiness. Probably I was
Oh,
overwhelmed. That could be
yeah.
something. The other
It's
thing
just like,
was,
oh, what have I done?
like, I was like,
It's
I've learned this about
happening.
myself. Like, nobody forced me to do this. My
Yeah.
family didn't ask me to do it. My friends didn't ask me to do it. And career-wise, I was doing okay. I didn't have to do it. But then, I couldn't turn it down either, because right now I'm young. I can take up this job. And what if I turn it down and later, 5 years later, 10 years later, I don't get that opportunity when I want it? So it seems stupid to turn it down. But again, coming back to your question, it was extremely difficult because family is back there, friends are back there. I had my own social circle back there. And I'm an introvert. So I know how difficult it can get for me to come to a new country and make friends.
Yeah.
So it's not like moving from one state to another back in your country, where
Yeah.
still things are kind of similar. So I think I had around 3 months of time before I moved here. And I spent a good amount of that worrying and crying.
Oh, yeah.
And the day I kept telling everyone, I'm going to come back, I'm going to come back. That's what I told everyone, because I think that was a reminder to myself that I'm not leaving.
Yeah.
Because
This
that
is,
kind of gave me some kind of consolation. Like, don't worry, your home is always there if you want to go back.
isn't that good?
It is.
It's just the thought about it. Just the thought of it is
Yes.
like, oh, ah,
Because that's what home is. I mean, for most people, again, not for everyone, because
yeah,
some people just want to go to a different place for whatever reason, and it's completely fine. But from me, where I'm coming from, that is my life.
yeah.
And this is like, a seed which has been planted somewhere else, I guess, which is kind of like I have to start from scratch here. So
Oh,
that's the thing. Everything,
definitely.
friends, acquaintances, colleagues, work, the food I eat, it's all changed.
Even
So
the time,
the
the
time, the weather,
weather.
everything. But at least India is much hotter right now. It's a 42
Yeah,
degrees Celsius there. So I'm glad I'm here.
yeah. I think like obviously UK's got good. I think not the worry of not to think like what's the tomorrow like.
Yes.
Like there is progression. You
Yes.
can evolve within your journey as
Yes.
a doctor.
Because there are a lot of opportunities which will make a significant difference in your life. Because again, you don't have to do something just for the sake of doing it. If you do something, rest assured, it will make some difference in your career or even in your personal life. Because there's this kind of, like your personal life is kind of attached to your professional life here, and detached also, if you know what I mean. Work is work, life is life. That's a different thing. But what, the qualities that you can get from your workplace, you can apply that in life also.
Yeah.
Because everybody at the workplace here treats everybody else with so much respect.
Oh,
You
yes.
can incorporate that into your daily life,
I
if you
love
know
that
what
in
I mean.
in
Yeah.
in these communities.
Yes. You cannot see that. I don't know, but I don't think you can see that in a lot of places,
Mm.
because every place is ruled by hierarchy in a lot of
Yeah. Oh
ways.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. But
So,
it's not. It doesn't happen in our place. But
mm,
I've been doing rotations
okay.
across a few hospitals, and I could tell there is a difference
Mm,
in the community. Obviously,
yeah.
each group has got their own community, and
Yes.
we are so lucky that we've got that as an advantage for us
Yes,
because
we do.
everyone is so respectful. They mind their words. They mind the way they
Mm,
treat you. That they look at you, like I think like they don't care, but they do treat you well.
yes.
It's not like they
That's
will.
good enough.
Yeah, that's good
That's
for
good
me as
enough.
well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm
Like
happy with
you don't
that.
really need to know what's going on in somebody's mind, as long as you're being treated right.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
you don't have to like behave the same way. Like, you don't have to put out every single thing that's in your mind out there. You can be nice and polite with me. You don't have to be honest. That's fine. That's how I feel these days.
yeah, really, yeah,
Because sometimes there are people who think like being, like brutally honest is a good thing. I don't think it's a good thing all the time. You don't have to be brutally honest. Because it can be brutal.
yeah.
Not everybody is in a place where they can accept it.
That's so true.
Yeah, so
Just be mindful of your own thoughts.
exactly, you don't have to put everything out there.
Don't tell me if
Yeah,
it's gonna hurt me.
exactly.
But I think like that's the community where we're working. I think it's just like everyone is so mindful of that.
Yes, and you need to be like
Yeah,
it has a certain like you need to be extremely responsible of what you say, because it can have a lot of repercussions.
That's so good. What you said is a good one.
I think we are all learning how to do that, because sometimes there are some certain situations where we kind of become impulsive. It can happen, but you can always go back and apologize. It's not a bad thing to do.
You're not perfect.
Exactly. And I don't think it has to do with any system. I think wherever in the world you are, you owe that to your colleagues. You owe that to the people you work with, the people you talk to, the people you live with. But later you can always go back and tell them, like, like, I made a mistake there, or I was angry. That's why, like, people, you kind of owe people an explanation sometimes, if if it's not coming from a right place.
Yeah. So I want to back to the first thing. It was like, what was the like? Because we all have expectations when we're moving to a new country. Like, oh, I'm gonna try this food, or I'm gonna do this. The city I'm going, they have got this really nice activity for outside an outside activity or something. I was just wondering what was your expectation prior moving in here?
So I don't know if you'll take this seriously, but
also, sorry, how do you compare those preconceptions with the reality?
Okay. So I did not have any expectations while coming here. I know. So that kind of answers the second question also there.
Yeah.
I think mostly because I was very much involved in spending whatever little time I had back home with my friends. I was just there in the moment, like every day I would just sleep for like 2 hours or 3 hours, because I'm maybe I will not be able to see them for the next 1 year or so. So I've never thought about coming here until I actually got here.
Oh, that's good.
I'm not really sure, because
you had no worries. You were just like, the worry was to leave them, not what would you face when you
that's
encountered.
what I thought. But I didn't research anything about the place. I didn't research anything about the hospital that I was supposed to work in, nothing about my job. Just packed my bags up, booked my tickets, and I came here. But even I didn't even have a stay, place to stay when I came here.
Really?
I had an Airbnb booked for 4 days. And then I was like, okay, now maybe I'll start searching. It is not a good idea. I would not advise that to anyone, because when I came here and, the day I started work is when I realized that I have no idea what I've gotten myself into. And I don't talk about it like a bad thing, but it's nice to know, like nice to research your line of work, what is expected from you at the workplace and stuff, so that it doesn't come as much of a shocker to you. Because for me, it was a slap on the face. The first day of induction that we had, it really was a slap on the face for me. And I think it took me almost a week to understand what it is.
Yeah.
And then there are still days where, I get new information, like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to be doing here. Okay, or honestly, I didn't even know where Cambridge was. Like, I didn't even know the names of the airports in London. So I had no idea. So the problem is, it's nice to be educated about these things, because you already have a lot of things which are new to you. You don't want everything which is new.
That's a very good tip.
You can try and equip yourself with some information so that you don't feel so helpless and so foreign. And that is what I didn't do.
Yeah.
I should have done that.
Yeah.
Because like you said, expectations versus reality, I wanted to avoid that. But it would have been easier to have some expectations so that you could at least compare. This is suddenly like you're, struck with the reality of whatever is happening, and you don't even have a baseline. Is this normal? Like, everyone told me, this is such a pretty city. Are you enjoying the city? I'm like, it's pretty.
I know my way to the hospital and back.
I have my location saved home on Google Maps so that I don't get lost on the way back.
That's it.
And I didn't notice, frankly, I didn't even notice winter changing to spring. People have told me it's beautiful to see the transition in seasons, and the buildings and the architecture and stuff like that, but it did take me a couple of months to actually notice that. I would be walking past beautiful buildings and I wouldn't notice them, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, your mind is too busy thinking other things.
I was in a survival mode of
survival mode. Yeah.
So I wouldn't advise that to anyone.
No.
I should have done more research.
I think I've prepared myself, but nothing will ever prepare you enough for the big impact, because for many of us foreigners, doesn't matter where you are, which country you are, you will never be prepared.
Exactly.
And honestly, what was I gonna say? I was gonna say, like, this is a first experience
Mm.
to live alone for many of us that
True.
moved to another country.
Mhm.
So I believe, like, so many foreigners
Mhm.
like us is the first time outside their capsule, as you said.
Right.
So I think, like, it's not just the culture outside,
Mhm.
but is you dealing with you, is you knowing you, and
Yes.
that's really tough and scary.
But again, I'm somebody who's lived alone back in India for the last 3 years at least.
Hmm.
So I thought of things the other way. How different could it be?
Yeah.
Like, I've changed cities. I've lived in different places over the last 6 to 8 years. I've lived alone. What difference is a new country going to make? I was wrong. I was wrong. It
Life
made
was like,
all the difference.
Devika, you know nothing.
Exactly. And I did not like knowing nothing because I
It's
wasn't prepared
scary.
for that.
Mm.
Because I came here thinking, fine, it's going to be a cakewalk. And I'm
Mhm.
still struggling. It's been 3 months, and I remember the first time I worked with somebody, and they told me it's going to take you at least 3 to 6 months to get adapted to this place, and a year to decide if you want to be here or not. And I'm not sure I took them really seriously initially. I still remember it. I took them a bit seriously, hence I remember it. But after 2 months, I was like, then I saw a significant difference between the second and the third month.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a formula. It might not be true for everyone, but at least for me, there is a lot of difference. Like, first month was okay, second month was horrible.
Is rejecting that idea, like, I may not ever go back. Oh my God.
Yes, it's too many things because at least the first month you're very open towards everything. The second month you've kind of gotten used to some things, so you have expectations now, and that is the month where expectations get broken. And the third month you're like, just going to do things my way. At least that's what happened with me. I was like, I'll get adapted soon, but I'm not going to force myself to fit into the system because that's what I tried to do during my second month. It did not work well for me.
Yeah.
Then the third month, I was like, chuck all this. I'm going to go back and be the person that I was back in India. And that was good
Well done.
enough.
It's so hard. It's so hard because you want to fit in.
Yes.
The thing is, you need to make peace with yourself to fit in,
Like,
because
even,
everyone has accepted you already, but you haven't accepted who
yes.
you've become.
But at the end of the day, like, you
I don't know
walk
if
in
this makes
somewhere,
sense, but yeah.
it does.
Yeah.
Because, but again, like something like you said, that everybody has accepted you already. You have not. Because I used to, like, feel that I stick out like a sore thumb at the workplace or,
Mhm.
outside. I look different, I dress different, I speak English with a different accent. People might not understand what I say, I might not understand what people say. So, all of these things would be taken very casually if you're comfortable. If you're comfortable and you've given yourself that timeline where you feel like it is going to be this way for a certain period. And I remember the second month or the first month, I didn't even talk because I'm like, if I talk, I'll have to end up repeating what I say.
I don't know if
Or
that's quite accurate, actually. You don't talk.
I never spoke because I tried and I sounded to myself
No, but
like one
you're
of
very
those.
shy, I would say,
I
when
am,
you
I
start.
am, introverted. The only place I used to talk was at my workplace,
Mm.
which got taken away from me after I came here. Because every time I spoke, I felt like I sounded like one of those Indian doctors on the soap operas that you see. Like I could hear whatever I was saying 2 times loud.
Oh.
And I started dissecting the way I talk. And one thing I knew was I never wanted to change the way I talk. And I've seen people do that, like, people adapt accents, which is adopt accents, which is completely understandable.
That's what I did.
It is
Because people
completely
used to joke,
understandable. It's
well,
easier.
not that you can maybe see much notice, but
Hmm.
I've tried to change my accent
Hmm.
because when I've moved here,
Hmm.
the people I was working with, or not to be a victim,
Yeah.
but they were laughing of me. They were
Yeah.
like, oh, nobody can understand what you're saying, like, stop talking.
Yeah. But
So
the
I was
truth
just like, you know
is,
what? I will be better, actually,
yeah.
because I want everyone to understand
Hmm.
what I say.
Yeah.
So I've put this fake,
Which makes sense. You need
whatever,
to live, you need to survive. So
yeah,
whatever it takes.
whatever.
But at the end of the day, I wish, you know, everybody would understand that this is even back home. Like, you get teased for whatever accent you have. People from different states have different accents.
Yeah.
But the thing is, everybody has an accent. There is no particular accent which is appreciated as like, the best accent there is. No. As long as you're legible and people understand what you have to convey, it should be good enough for everyone. So the one thing I've always wanted is like not to have to change my accent unless it creeps in on me, like, with time.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, like you said, you have to make yourself legible. If somebody is not getting what you say, maybe you have to twist it a little around so that it's easier for you and for them.
Yeah.
So
It's
there's
just
no right or wrong.
it's just like, oh, I don't want to keep repeating myself. It
No, I
wasn't
get what
just
you're
I will
saying.
change for my haters.
Yes.
But I will change because I want everyone to understand.
Yes.
And like when you're upset and you say something, or you're happy, or
Mhm.
you're expressing something,
Mhm.
you don't want people to say what, because you lose the emotion,
I know.
you lose that passion.
And
It
that's
will
the
just
basic
get
thing, right? Communication is the basic thing. If you can't get that right, you're going to feel more and more
you just like, oh,
foreign
you
to the whole thing.
forget that,
Yeah.
leave it.
But at least we're in a place where we can speak English. Like, imagine if you had to go somewhere, like, like speak a completely new language. I'm like, so after this, I've decided I cannot move to a place where there's a different language because I think it's really important.
Yeah.
Either you have to be fast at learning the local language,
Mhm.
because some people are, I'm not. So I think all those options have just like gone off for me at this point. Yeah, I
What do you
guess.
think, like, because you've just moved like 4 months ago,
Yeah.
that's like you newbie.
Yeah, I'm a baby here.
What is the most rewarding from this experience? Because
Mhm.
there must be some, like, really like, oh, thank God I did that, well done me.
Okay, so I think I would say that if you've moved to another country on your own, you can just do about anything else in life. You have equipped yourself with a certain kind of bravery there.
Survival mode is
Yes.
on.
I think you can just do about everything because I've heard people say that, like, you went for a movie alone, or you went for dinner alone. Because
Oh yeah.
back home, it's all about companionship and, like, people move in groups. It's kind of like that.
Mm-hmm.
Very rarely do, people do things alone.
Same.
Yeah. But when you're here,
But
see,
even here, I feel like people from here,
Mm,
they move in groups as well.
yeah,
But
I understand that.
yeah, I think it's because it's us
I mean, I would love to move in groups, but sometimes you don't have a choice.
or
I
time.
mean, yeah, I mean, you might want to go for a movie, but you might not have a friend to go for the movie with. Doesn't mean you skip the movie. You still go for
Yeah.
it. You have to buy groceries. You can't wait for somebody for you to go grocery shopping with. Not going to happen. You need to get your food. So I think that way, if you've moved countries, like I said, alone, I think you can just live through almost everything else because you're away from friends, you're away from family, you have constructed a new environment for yourself. What do you have to be afraid of
Yeah,
anymore?
it's so empowering, isn't it?
Yeah.
Once you like get to know you, do the things that you like,
Yeah.
even sometimes like, oh, I hate being an adult. I need to avoid crying for this half an hour. Oh, I will get back to that sadness in a little bit. I don't know. This is how I used to feel in the beginning.
Yeah.
Now I feel very happy. Well, I'm a very happy person. I don't like cry and
I
like
know.
not like that. It's just I just love the community here. It's
Mhm.
amazing. I'm loving the weather because it's been quite sunny
It
outside.
has been lovely over the last 1 month.
I've been even going out, like I go out running on myself,
Mm.
with myself, obviously, not on myself. Sorry, I've
Yeah.
got no
We do
communication
like a
skills.
cut here.
I shouldn't really do a podcast. I've got no communication skills.
You said that, not anybody else.
My God, poor girl.
Running on yours. Yeah.
I
So,
went to this really nice restaurant by myself as well. I really, and it was just like I could do anything.
yeah.
I am that shit. And I don't think like nothing could destroy that. Like
Yes, in a
sometimes
way.
I stop.
Mhm.
It's rare because it's so busy with our
Mhm.
lives. But sometimes I stop and I'm like, wow, I could do
Mhm.
so many things, and then I look at the week before and the month before and the year before, because Google Photos reminds me like,
Mm.
what did I do? It could
Yeah.
be like traumatizing, but so far it's been like, wow, I've done, like, I would never, like, imagining my 5-year-old self or 10-year-old self
Doing
dreaming about
this.
all these things. Oh, I want to do this, I want to be like that, I want to take this
Yeah.
degree, I want to learn about this, like who you would love to
Doing
become.
a
And now
podcast.
you're doing it.
Yeah.
I'm amazing.
Yeah.
I want to ask you so many other things actually. Like, since you've moved here,
Mhm.
what was the most awkward thing you've experienced? Like, oh my god, like, back home that's something normal, but here's like, oh my god, this is so awkward. I feel so shy about this. I'll tell you mine.
Mhm.
So when I came here, we were doing this training, and I said, oh, sorry, I can't talk very well, I'm very constipated.
Okay.
Because in Portuguese, constipado
Okay.
means like I'm having a cold. But here,
Oh, you cannot,
and
yeah.
everyone in the room starts laughing.
Okay.
And I was like, what,
Oh, I've had that
what's
once though.
happening? What's happening?
I can give you an example of something like that. Sorry for cutting
And I was
across.
looking at my partner and I was like, could you tell me like what's happening? And he was like, that means like your bowels are obstructed.
I get,
Obstructed.
yeah.
And I was just like, oh, sorry.
That's not what I meant. Clearly not what I meant. The same thing happened to me. I told somebody that, I'll probably just be wearing pants tonight. I think you were in the group. And then Gemma was like, I think you mean trousers. I'm like, oh yeah, wrong country.
I was
That
there.
would be something.
My
But
god.
that's not embarrassing because it was just a small group of people that, on
Yeah.
WhatsApp that you know.
Yeah.
But imagine saying that in front of a crowd.
Yeah.
Like,
I told the man, oh, you're so beautiful. And they were like, men are handsome, ladies are beautiful. I was like, sorry.
But I
Sorry.
would still,
This is really awkward.
yeah,
But after, like, now we can talk and laugh about it. So it's
true,
fine.
true.
What advice would you give to your pre-self? I think you kind of answered this
Yeah, I
question
did.
a little
Yeah.
bit. Yeah, but what would you give to other people that
Hmm.
like would move to England or would do another step of moving, even cities, countries, any move?
Hmm.
What would be your recommendation?
I think the first thing that I would ask them is not to be harsh on
Oh,
themselves because, it's going to be a big thing. You're going to unlearn a lot of things you've been used to doing and stuff, and, you're going to unlearn almost everything and
unlearn.
unlearn, whatever habits that you've had, whatever, ways of socializing that you've had, things at work that you used to do. You have to keep everything away and maybe start learning from scratch, depending on whatever place you're in.
Oh,
So for me, that was a huge thing. And I was not very kind to myself. I did not give myself that room where, I would have told somebody else the same thing. Like I told you, like my seniors had told me, give yourself 3 months or 6 months. I didn't tell myself that.
mm-hmm.
I was in a hurry to get adapted.
Yeah,
I
right
thought
now.
first month, gotten it all sorted. No. But now I think I am. Like there are bad days where I feel I miss everyone, or I feel I don't fit in here, I don't fit back home, I don't fit anywhere. But I'm like, why do you have to rush into fitting anywhere? You're evolving daily.
That's a big question. Like, that's a big question that advertises and pops up to so many people's minds
Yeah.
when they are moving to a new place. And
You
I
have
think I
that
think that's a
imposter
good.
syndrome, I think, wherever you go, unless you're within, like I said, moving from one state to another, which is culturally same, it might be okay. But if you're moving, like, a place which is culturally very different, you will have that imposter syndrome.
Mhm.
You will not know what is right.
Yeah,
What I'm doing, is that right? Or what other people are doing, is that right? The thing is, everything is right as long as, morally and conscience wise, it's fine. You just need to figure out your type of right.
Oh,
That's just about
she's
it.
poetic,
I don't know if that made sense.
philosopher. That made,
Like
for
wherever you
me,
are,
perfect.
like particularly in our profession, be nice, be kind, or in any profession for that matter. Have patient care at the crux of your code, that your work ethics. Wherever in the world you go, those are the things.
Yeah.
The way you do it might be different, but
And be humble. Yeah. I try to.
yes.
Sometimes it's difficult because you're like, oh, I'm really good.
Oh, no,
I'm really good at
once in
this.
a while you can be like,
A little
like
bit.
I said, how dare they reject my application? Once in a while you can be that.
Be humble. Be better.
Yes. Otherwise, how would we just keep ourselves going?
Yeah. Yeah. Not knowing is what makes you learn.
Yes.
Like
I
having
hate it
that
when I don't know
conscious, like, oh,
something.
I don't know anything, please just teach me. Having that mindset, it
You know
will
that
be.
the frog in the well synonym? Like, a frog stuck in a well sees only the well around it. So it thinks that's the world. So you're being a fool if you think you've seen everything and you know everything. Even if you worked in every single place around the world, there are still things you don't know about. So I've seen a lot of people have that thing where, they feel like I've seen everything. And
I'm so good.
like, yeah, I'm so good, or the arrogance comes. It's not an attractive thing.
No.
There's always one person or one situation that will come around to teach you something new.
Yeah.
So that is a very humbling thing, I feel.
Yeah.
I think, and I don't think however old you are, you can never say that I know everything or I've seen everything.
Yeah.
You will always be learning new things with every single day. It could be from anyone.
That's so true. So I'm still trying to know the answer for this question, but how did you find building friendships? Because it's really important that you build a network
Yeah.
at work and outside. And I feel like maybe because you are a medical or in this field, as if like you were a judge, or if you had like a job that is seen like, oh, a high job in the society. How did you feel like? Did you feel like your um doctorate made you look different in others' eyes? Like, do you think that benefits you, or is it doesn't matter, or if you think it's taken negatively into building friendships?
Are we talking about being here as a doctor or anywhere in the
No, here,
world?
yeah.
Thing is, I don't see, like you said, when you said that you have a certain place in the society because you're a doctor.
Yes.
I've never thought of it that way, and I'm not lying here.
Yeah.
I know that it is, an elitist section of the society and all of that, but I come from a family where there are doctors, so it's not a new thing there. Like, and I've never been taught to flaunt it or see it as oh, you're a doctor. It's just a job. That's how I've always felt. So I don't really know if I've lost out on opportunities and making friends. I don't think so. Because I think it all comes down to the person that you are. People might think that you're stuck up maybe initially, or they might be taken aback. I don't know. But I don't think the way I behave, I don't think it, even if they judge me the first time, oh, this is such and such a person, and maybe we can't be friends with her. But the way I talk, we end up usually being friends.
Yeah, because you're
If
so
they are my kind
open.
of person.
Yeah, that's so true. I think, yeah, you don't have that chamber. You're just so
It
open, you
doesn't
don't see
matter.
it.
Yeah. See, the only
Yeah,
place where your work matters is at work.
yeah.
Outside of that, I don't think it really matters. But what does
But it
matter?
may matter for others. You know,
Okay.
like, oh, you're this. Oh, okay.
I
Devika, please help me. I got something stuck on my throat.
yeah, that would help, and I wouldn't be able to help you there. But you need to call the ENT surgeon for that. But yeah, I mean, I don't think it's very important for me.
You don't see that difference. It just
No,
doesn't matter.
no, I don't. At least I have not seen anyone single me out because okay, she's a doctor and we can't talk to her because it's
No,
not
I'll
something.
say the opposite actually. Oh, she's doctor. Oh my god, la la la. I don't know.
Oh, I would
Just the
not like
title.
that. I would not like that. The thing is,
Mm.
I always think I can pick on very small things. So if I know somebody's becoming or trying to become friends with me for a reason other than that reason being the person that I
You
am,
are.
you're not my person. Like,
Mhm.
my every cell in my
I have
body
to tell
rejects
you,
every cell in your
you're
body.
touching your mic.
Oh, sorry.
I think
Sorry.
it's going.
Not used. I'm not used to it. I'm not used to that.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me. Neither do I. Neither am I. Oh my god, yeah. I didn't thought this would be. I thought this would be a good question, but I don't think it was a very good question, was it?
No, it's understandable because, but for me, maybe not.
No, yeah. You don't see it's more difficult or easier because you've got that
No,
title.
because honestly speaking, I've had friends from all walks of life, and I come from a background where, you know, money doesn't have a role in anything.
Yeah.
Your education doesn't have a role in anything. But I would like to say that all my friends or the people I surround myself with are intelligent.
Yeah.
It
Oh,
doesn't have
yes.
anything to do with the number of degrees that you have.
So,
Or
do you think I'm intelligent?
why do you think I'm sitting here with you right now?
I've made it! Mom! Today's Mother's Day, actually.
This is me proving that I am also intelligent. If you know what I mean.
Good.
But yeah,
Thank you. I
that's
appreciate
it.
that, actually.
You're welcome.
Yeah. What is the thing that you really like miss? For me, it's like the food and the smell of the sea. This smell of like
True.
it just clears. It just
We
clears
touched
my
a mic now.
lungs.
I think I would definitely go by both of that. The food and the sea and the people. Like, I'm not saying comparing, I'm just saying that I had my people back there.
Yeah.
So, and for me, any place is fine as long as I have my people. I really wish, I could take all my people, put them in my pocket or my bag or something and carry them around wherever I went. But you can't, sadly.
I wish.
But yeah, I mean, I think I would still not mind not having the food from back home or not seeing the sea or not smelling the breeze as long as I had my people with me.
So, what do you think has been like? This is worth it. Like, what's been keeping you here? Like, oh, this is worth it.
Because, like I said before, you can't always be in your comfort zone. You need to test your boundaries. So, right now, I'm seeing if this is worth it. I don't know.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
I
is,
forget that you're
yeah,
a newbie.
I have chosen to take this opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to see if this keeps me happy, if this keeps my profession going, if it keeps me personally okay. It has to be a package. I might be greedy, you might call me greedy, but I want everything. I want to be
fair
happy.
enough.
I want my personal life to flourish, and I want to be professionally up there.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And she's recruiting for a husband. Please send DMs.
I don't think we should be
Cheers to
doing
that.
Kindly start with your concluding statement.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think I've got any more questions. Shall we call it a
Yes,
episode?
please. Yes. I hope you had fun. I had a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you. Thank you if you actually watch this. It does mean a lot. And I hope somehow this episode was helpful for you. Or maybe we're not helpful, but something has happened. I'm going to cut this bit. Thank you so much. Thank you. You matter. Thank you so much, actually.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to us.